Hey, this is Brian. Welcome to this episode of If this is your first time being here, I appreciate you stopping by. Doing something a little bit different than I normally record outdoors. That's why my channel is called Big South Outdoors TV. But the wind, we had some thunderstorms come through here, and now there's a cold front moving through, and the wind is blowing. It's blowing bad. So anyway, I decided to do this in my studio. So what are we going to be doing today? Well, we're going to get into it, but before we do, be sure and click the like button, the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and leave me some comments, guys. And if you're not subscribed to the channel and you're watching this video, click the subscribe button, please. But anyway, what I've got in front of me, you see this handle right here. This is my old weed eater. And I'm going to show you what happened to it, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix it. So this is going to be kind of a fix-it video, so to speak. And yes, I'm doing it indoors in a studio, but today I have no choice. So stick around. All right, now I'm not going to be on the camera right this second. I'm going to be showing you what this is, what happened to it, and how I'm going to fix it. So this is my Stihl FS91R weed eater. Well, I was on a job actually late last summer. Something happened to it that I've never dealt with before, I've never had happen. And I could have repaired this, I thought, which I had all intentions of doing it, until I got to looking closer at it. And when I got to studying on it and examining it, I realized that there was more damage to it than met the eye. But anyway, here's what happened. I don't know if you can see this or not, but the gas tank lid is gone. Now watch this. Yeah, that whole thing separated. Now, if you go back and watch, and I'll put a link, actually I'll put the thumbnail on this video, and where I replaced the clutch in this weed eater. And if you can see, that clutch is gone. Now, the reason it's gone, I took the clutch off of it. This engine still runs good, but this weed eater is 6 years old. It has, I basically went through and did an estimate of how much weed eating I do during the day, and I multiplied that times 5 days, or actually times 300 and whatever it is, 5 days a week. And then I multiplied that times 6 years, and this weed eater has got approximately 4,065 hours on it. It still runs. It still runs good. But as you can see, it is an FS91R. I've got to calling around to some dealerships because I thought just this cowl was broken. Well, come to find out, the bell housing on the engine is cracked in 4 different places and it wouldn't hold. Now, I hate to get rid of this motor, but I've got no choice. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the air filter cap off. I'm going to take the spool off. I'm going to take the coil off because all of that is still good. I'm going to take all the throttle assembly off, and I'm going to take the shaft out of the main shaft out of here, and I'm going to store them for future use. And I really thought I could repair this, but I can't. So what I decided to do is I'm going to replace it. And as a matter of fact, I already have, because like I said, this trimmer is 6 years old. It would cost, they can replace the bell housing on the engine and this cowl, but the total price for doing it, because you have to basically disassemble the engine, and you're basically short blocking the engine is what you're doing, and that cost about $400. Well, instead of doing that, I just went ahead and replaced it with a new weed eater, and that's what I'm going to be showing you today. Now what my intention is, I'm going to have to move the machine around a little bit. And these blocks, right, this one here and the one down at the end, are the carrier blocks or the keeper blocks rather, for the Equipment Defender trimmer racks. And I'm going to be removing those, and I'm going to be removing, let me get it in the shot. I'm going to be removing this handle, and I'm going to keep this handle stored. I've got 2 brand new handles just like this. I've already ordered. They're in the storage. And I'm going to take this keeper handle attachment off of here, and I'm going to be putting it on my new trimmer. So what trimmer did we buy? Well, stay tuned. Voila! This is my new trimmer. Now, it looks identical, except, you know, this one looks brand new. Ooh, kind of sexy. But this is completely different than the one I had. This is not an FS91R. This is not an FS110R. This is not a 111R. This is, drum roll please, this is an FS131R. This right here is the biggest, baddest machine weed eater that Stihl makes. Now, you may ask, Brian, why did you go with such a big weed eater? Well, it's not big. It's the exact same footprint as the FS91R. It is the exact same weight as the FS91R. They both weigh 12.4 pounds. It is not the same in any other way except those 2 aspects. This has, the FS91R has a solid steel shaft. This has a solid steel shaft inside. This has the centrifugal clutch, as does the thing. The only difference is the FS91R is 27, I believe it's 20, no, it's 28.4 cc's. This one is 36.7 cc's. Now, what does that translate into? Well, the FS91R has 1.7 British horsepower, I believe it's called. This one has 2 horsepower. That's a big difference. Now, you say, why did you buy such a big machine? Well, number one, they weigh exactly the same. So the fatigue level of using it is going to be identical. You're not going to be able to tell the difference in holding this one, swinging it back and forth, running through brush as you do the FS91R. They're identically the same weight-wise. The only difference is the cubic centimeters of this machine versus the FS91R. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're watching this video and you say, well, I've never had a Stihl before, and all I do is weed eat around my house and maybe around my mailbox, and I have a ditch bank that has a few weeds here and there in it, an FS91R will be more than capable of doing what you do. But over the years, like I said, that FS91R is 6 years old. 6 years ago, I didn't have the volume of work that I have now. You know, in business, you have to continue to grow. You have to continue to move forward. And when you do, and your business reaches a certain point, you have to upgrade and you have to go bigger. You know, go big or go home. Well, that's what I decided to do with this. Number one, the FS91R has been a great machine. I've never, ever had a problem with it. The only thing I've ever had to do to it, replace the air filter, replace the spark plug, and replace the centrifugal clutch one time. That's all I ever had to do to it. It is a phenomenal machine. And brand new, they've got exorbitant power. I mean, they'll chew through high grass like it's not even there. But, as you've heard me say, if you've been watching my videos any length of time, you know you've heard me say time is money. Well, when you've got the volume of work I've got now, and I'm a solo operation, I work solely by myself. Every now and then, my son Nate will go with me. You've seen him on videos. But I primarily work by myself. Well, time is money. And the fatigue factor, when you've got an aging machine, it was time to step up. It was time to go up to a new level. And yes, I could have bought the FS 111R, but you know what? My daddy always said, if you're going to do it right. So I decided to go ahead and get the FS 131R, because they are the 91R, the 111R, and the 131R. They're all the identical weight, the identical length. So why not go big or go home, right? So anyway, I'm going to show you a couple of features. I'm going to sit down and show you a couple of features that are different on this one than were on the 91R. All right. Now, your throttle lockout right here is the same. See, it won't press. It won't rev up until you press that, and then it'll rev up. That's the same. The gas tank cap is the same. This, I don't know if you can see this. Let me slide it back a little bit. This strap clip is the same. This will be coming off. And if anybody out there knows what this thing right here is for, please comment below and let me know. I've never been able to figure out. I've been in business for, I'm going on my 24th year now. And this is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is my 6th Stihl weed eater I've bought. And I've never known what this is for. The dealership really wasn't sure what it was for. But anyway, the only thing I can figure is it is a keeper to keep the handle from sliding back here. That's the only thing I can figure out what it is. But anyway, the biggest difference, two things. The biggest difference between the FS91R and the 131R is this handle has a foam padding on it, where the 91R does not. And I say foam, it's more of a cushioned handle. And I don't know if you can see it. Let me slide it back even more. If you see right here, that padding right there, the 91R has this just a plastic handle. It doesn't have this part. And it's more rubberized, but it's real spongy. And it's easy to grip. That's the one big difference. The other big difference, and I'm not going to pull it around here to show you. I can probably take the camera down there. But the FS91R, the head, the weed eater head, it is a sealed head. It does not have a grease nut you can take off and grease it or put a zert fitting in it. The 131R does. And those are the two biggest differences that I've seen thus far. And guys, understand something. I haven't even cranked this machine up yet. It's been sitting in my shop. I haven't even started using it yet. I haven't transferred anything because I've been waiting on the weather to get right to do this video, and I was tired of waiting. So I just decided I'd go ahead and do it now, today, in the studio. But I have all intentions, maybe tomorrow afternoon, of getting everything transferred so I can start using this on a daily basis. I can't wait to use it. And yes, I am going to be doing a review video of it, so stay tuned for that. But I'm excited about it, guys. I'm the one thing I am going to do, I'm going to take the bump feed head off like I did my other one and store it, and I'm going to put my Oregon speed feed head on this one. Now, you've seen me in the last couple of weeks using a weed eater. So where did I get it from? Well, you know, as I've said in many videos, my dad always told me, you do what you have with what you can with what you've got. In other words, you improvise. Well, the one thing I like about Stihl products are the heads are interchangeable. You can run a edger head on this weed eater, or you can run a weed eater head on an edger, and that's what I did.
The problem with that is I have my edger is an FC96. It's even older than my Stihl FS91R. But I don't run it as often. I don't run it as hard. I mean, it edges what I need to edge, and then I cut it off. And I might run it 2 hours a day, all total, where the FS91R, I was running it for 4 and 5 hours a day. That's a big difference. But anyway, what I ended up having to do was you take the bolt loose and you slide the trimmer head off, and then you put your edger head on it, and then you tighten it up. Well, the problem is those heads are made of aluminum, and aluminum is a very soft metal. Well, when you're tightening up and loosening up that bolt to attach the trimmer head, the edger head onto the shaft of the weed eater, it gets soft. And over a period of time, it gets to the point that it will strip out, and that's exactly what happened. So I ended up having to put a bolt in my in my edger head, and had to have a 10 millimeter wrench and a 10 millimeter socket to attach it. Well, that even got to the point where it wouldn't tighten up enough, and I broke the bolt. And here is my edger head right here. And if you will look and see, if I can get this in the shot, that's a brand new bolt in there. That is a grade 8 bolt. That thing will never break. I put that rascal in. It is a 7/16 socket that fits on it. I put that rascal in there, and it's a fine thread. It's not a coarse thread. It's fine thread. And it literally cut new threads through there. And now I can tighten it back up like I did from the factory. But I went a step further. I put a lock nut on the back of it, so when it does tighten up, I can lock that thing down and it won't move. So when I put it back on the FC96 permanently, it's there. I ain't got to worry about it coming off. I ain't got to worry about it coming loose. It's done. It's there. So anyway, that's the reason why I've never been with Stihl. Stihl, they cost too much money to repair. And Echo are good machines, but their parts are relatively expensive compared to Stihl. Echo carburetor is, and I know this for a fact, I have a 8C185 hedge trimmer I'm going to be doing a video on. A customer gave it to me. It was sitting in his garage for, he didn't tell me how long, but he said he knew it had been in there for at least 3 years. And he bought it at a yard sale. It was running. It runs great. He said it runs great. But he got injured on the job. He didn't do lawn care. He was in the military. He got injured on the job and messed up his neck. So he couldn't bend, like that to trim hedges. So he gave it to me. I had all intentions of scrapping it. If you haven't seen my scrap metal video, it's called Going Green. Check it out. But anyway, I had all intentions of just throwing that thing on the scrap pile. Well, something told me, throw some gas in it and see if it'll crank up. So I poured a little bit of gas into it. I primed it real good. I actually broke the primer bulb in doing that, and the gas spilled out. So I had to choke it. And I pulled and pulled and pulled. Well, it finally hit. I took the choke off. I cranked it up. It idled beautiful. It idled for probably 5 minutes. But when I went to hit the trigger to rev it up, it would cut off. So I know it needs a new carburetor. Well, I've got one I ordered off Amazon. Now, that brings me back to the parts. I called my dealer, and for the exact same carburetor, I forget now what brand it is, a Vimco or something like that, exact same carburetor they give me a listing for, they wanted $90 for that carburetor. $90. Well, I went on Amazon and I looked, and when I do that video, I'll leave a link in the description below for the listing on Amazon. I got the carburetor. The primer bulb was in the carburetor already. I got new gas lines, new gas filter, and the gaskets that you use to put the carburetor on to keep it from sucking air. All that came in the kit for 25 bucks. You heard me, 25 bucks. So I went that route. So I'm going to be doing a repair and will it run video on that. But my point is this: you can get parts cheaper for Echo, but you can also get name brand Stihl certified parts at the dealer. The carburetor for this one is like $38. I've already checked. And the Echo, exact same. I mean, comparing apples and apples, the 36 point whatever cc Echo machine, or the closest to it, the carburetor is $140. So now you know why I use Stihl. So anyway, stay tuned, guys. This thing's going to be featured in many videos for many years to come. I'm excited about using it. I'm excited about putting it to work. And I'm excited about your guys' input on what you think about it. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. If you've enjoyed it, if you've learned something, if you've gotten some information out, please leave me a like. If you've learned something, you've gotten some information out of this, and you've enjoyed the content of this video, please subscribe. If you've enjoyed what you've seen today, please comment and click that notification bell. Guys, this is Brian with Big South Outdoors TV, reminding you to live big, live southern, and live outdoors. Until we meet again, folks.